you might be wondering how our kitchen renovation is going. We started this at the end of December and we are nearing the end now, but this is what it is currently looking like in my house as we continue to live without a kitchen, making do with what we have, using the sink in the garage and a table that we popped up. This has been going on for over 3 months. So at this point, it is getting a little bit old. I don't know what I'm more excited about, getting to use our new kitchen or also getting our house back in shape and putting everything back where it goes and getting back into a routine that really helps us to function well, because right now we have been living in complete chaos. When I gathered all these clips to make this video update, I realized that we actually started on December 8th with the demo work. Of course, that was just ripping out everything that was in our previous kitchen. Yes, we did have the original kitchen from the 1950s still, which is why it needed to be redone. Everything was out of date. It was falling apart. The cupboards were actually falling apart. The tile was moldy. So many different problems that we were having that really needed to be remedied. But we did live with this kitchen for 6 years before making this change. Then fast forward to December 20th, where we had everything ripped out and the drywall guy had come in and patched where we had some lowered ceiling areas that we had ripped out, also fixed up a lot of the drywall. Grant wasn't really super thrilled with the final product of that, so that did delay the process a little bit because Grant had to fix a lot of the drywall. Then he had already made all of the cupboards before the kitchen even got ripped out. So he had actually started on the kitchen renovation way before this, making all of the cupboards, all the drawers and drawer boxes, the fronts and everything. So that was all done before we even started ripping everything out. Once the kitchen was all cleared out, we could bring the cupboards in and start to hang everything. I say we, and I mean Grant. He's the one who has done all this work. And from December 8th, when all of this started, he has worked nonstop every single day. There was only, I think, 3 or 4 days where we took off because it was Christmas and we went away for a long weekend. But other than that, he has worked every single day. He installed all of the cupboards, and along with that process, there's a lot of fixing and measuring and moving that has to go on with that. So once he had all that perfected, then it was doing some of the finish work, adding the fronts to all of the boxes and just getting everything lined up and perfect. And I'm sure I'm going to say a lot of this wrong, but the project just continued on every single day slowly. He's been working alone this whole time. The only time we had help was for the demo, the plumbing, the electric, and some of the drywall, which he had to do a lot of work on as well. Now we were gearing up for the countertops to be installed. So he is actually cutting down where our sink will go. We had ordered the sink months before this, so he put that in and we had it all ready for the countertop guys to come. At this point, it was time for Grant to start painting all of the drawer fronts and all of the door fronts. This is such a long process because what it entails is priming them all, then sanding them, then I think priming again, and then sanding again, and then doing the final coat, and then sanding, and then doing another final coat. I don't know. There just seems to be so much painting and then sanding to get everything perfect. So I woke up this morning and I said, I can't believe my alarm hasn't gone off yet. Did I turn it off in my sleep? I thought it was a weekday. And Grant said, today is Saturday. I have no idea what day it is. As we film this right now, it's Saturday, February 7th at 11 o'clock. We have today, most of today, we have all day Sunday to work on the kitchen. And then Monday, if everything goes to plan, the tile guy should be here to install the tile for the floor, not the backsplash, obviously, because we need to have the countertops in. The countertop people were meant to come last Monday, but for some reason they sold our countertops. I don't know if we already talked about this, but they sold our countertops and to somebody else, even though we already bought them. So I don't understand how that even happens, but they gave away our countertops, even though we had a date for them to be installed and we paid for them. I don't get it, but that's what happened. So in the meantime, we decided to ask if they could install the tile for the floor, which we have sitting right outside this door. So they're going to do that on Monday, which hopefully will get the project just going a little bit faster. And then Grant, your idea is you're going to paint then, right? Or maybe you're going to paint ahead of time. The battery's about to die.
Yeah, I'm going to, on the base cabinets on the one side, I'm going to do the sea spray color before the tile. So that'll be today or tomorrow. And then while the guys are working in the kitchen, I'll be doing all the doors and drawer faces up. I've done a primer coat outside. I've got one primer coat that came out pretty bad, so there's a lot of work. I'll probably reshoot them all.
And you have to sand them all and then re-prime them and then do the final coat?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then
luckily, we still loved this tile because we had picked this out a whole year before, February 2025, when we worked with a designer to help us figure out all of these options and some paint colors and things like that. She also helped us a little bit with the layout and worked with us on doing some renderings. And luckily, we still love the tile, which I think is a really good sign for the future of continuing to love it.
I thought I would do a little update on where we are with the kitchen right now. I feel we are really nearing the end now. We're coming super close, although there's always something that seems to be happening to just slow it down a little bit more. But I would say, I'm going to go out on a ledge here and say that I think it will probably be done at least in the next 3 weeks. And I'm giving a little bit of time because Grant still has to paint all of the cupboard doors and drawer fronts and still the upper cupboards, and this side he's done all of the primer coating and he's done the little fixes that had to be fixed on that, and then now he's ready for the final coat of paint. But what's happened now is we are expecting a rainstorm, so he was going to start painting in the next day, but now this storm is kicking in for a few days, so it's just going to delay that process a little bit. The tile guy was here all last week putting in the tile, and I think it looks beautiful. We are so happy with the tile that we chose. It's light and bright, and we went with a 1/3 layout pattern, and we decided to have the pattern go the short way of the kitchen rather than have it go the long way. You'll see in the clip about what I'm talking about. And then after Grant finishes painting all of the fronts of the cupboards and the drawers, then he will still need to install all of that. So it will take a little while for all of that to come together. Then the final touches are things that we still need to find, like the light that's going to hang over the kitchen sink. And we also need to figure out what window treatments we are going to choose. But at that point, we will be completely done with everything, and it'll just be those final touches that need to happen.
The delayed countertops, the ones that were sold from under us, were finally back in stock. So the countertop guys were able to come. Grant was unhappy that they had him cut this down, saying that it needed to be cut down, and it actually didn't. As you can see here, there's a huge gap. And that added to another delay later on where there was some damage on this corner from the countertop install, as well as having to fix that big gap that we just didn't like, and he was kind of upset about that. And we also were not super happy with the way these came together, where the seam is. So I can get into that in a different video.
I can't believe it. The countertops are actually in. I never thought this day would come. There are a few little things that still need to be kind of buffed out on the countertop, which will happen tomorrow, fingers crossed. And then at that point, it's all up to Grant to just finish the drawer fronts, the door fronts, painting, all of that, installing that. Then all we need is the final plumbing for the sink. The sink is actually in, but we just need to add, the plumbing part, hook in the dishwasher, have that hook into the plumbing. and then the oven, and we're good. We will have a kitchen. So I feel as if I'm finally seeing the end in sight, and I'm excited to be able to do my dishes again in the kitchen rather than the garage, and all of those things that I'm sure anyone who has lived through a kitchen renovation has had to deal with. But you just see the end in sight, and it's so exciting. As I say in all of these before and after videos that we've done in our home in the past, I always wish there was that like move the bus moment where you come in and you go, wow, look at that, it's so exciting. But it's never the case whenever you're living through the project, because you're seeing all these things happen so slowly that you don't get that like wow moment. But it's still so exciting to hopefully be done with this soon. I just can't wait to start using it.
These clips here give you a really good idea of how the kitchen is going to look. The color on the bottom is sea spray. That is the color that will be the final look. On the right here, we are keeping it white on this side, and that's because we are adding a colored tile that you're going to see in 1 second. The tile guy came and finished up the backsplash. We love the way this turned out. It adds a lot of depth to this side, adds a little change, breaks up the white, and we are happy with this tile. It's a glass tile. It looks really nice with the darker grout color. We just wanted to have some depth, and we didn't want everything to be one color. Even though we did pick sea spray for most of it, we did want to break it up with white on the other side and then have a colored backsplash. It's kind of hard to tell what this color is between a blue and a green. It's kind of a mix. It feels like a very beachy color feel. I'm very happy with it. And then to the right of the pantry, I'll get a little closer here in a second, where the beadboard is, Grant is going to make a custom table, and that will be something that I can pull out, use as an island, or use it as an extra space to make bread or whatever I'm cooking at the time.
Today, the guys are coming back to do the plumbing for the sink, just hook all that up and put the faucet in, the garbage disposal, and all of that. And then then they'll be done. It'll just be all us doing the rest of it.
Here, Grant and Levi are creating a painting rack. So when he is finished painting one of the door fronts, he then can stack them on this rack so it stands up. I didn't get any footage of the finished rack, but the door fronts can then lay on this rack and dry. We had a lot of delays when it came to the painting. So first we had a rainstorm, as I mentioned, then we had a windstorm, and you can't paint with wind because there's too many things blowing in the air. And he had to make a painting booth out of wood and this plastic wrap to keep the debris from falling onto the painted cabinets. So much sanding had to happen. So this is just a really, really long process for one man to do all by himself, completely alone. But he's here painting the fridge cabinet, the final coat. He's also painting the ceiling. So we really are getting super close to this project being completed, but there were just a lot of delays. We had to wait a lot of the time on different people coming in to work on things. And then also in the middle of all this, maybe a month ago, Grant actually got sick for a few days. And so of course life happens and there are delays along the way, but I can say that this painting is going to be done, and we are working super, super hard to get this kitchen finished.
That is the kitchen update. We are so close. Grant told me yesterday that we are probably only a few days away from putting the whole kitchen back together, installing the oven and the dishwasher. I am super, super excited about this, and I will be sharing this whole entire process of putting our home back together putting the kitchen together, organizing everything, stocking the kitchen. I will do a full before and after kitchen renovation video. And if you want to see really detailed videos on the kitchen renovation, you can head over to our second channel, Wood Guru, where we share a lot of in-depth before and after projects that we do on our home, because my husband is a finished carpenter. I am really excited about this. If you are new here, you can hit the subscribe button to join the channel. Thank you so much, as always, for watching and being part of this community. I have new videos go out every single Wednesday and Sunday at 6 a.m. and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.